Okay, it's recording. Alright, go for it. Good morning, Annette.
Hi.
How are
Thanks
you?
for having me.
100%. Thanks for
Okay.
showing up. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
absolutely.
Definitely.
Glad to be here.
Well, just to give you a little bit about myself,
Okay.
my name's Lee. I'm from Ascend Again Health and Wellness. I am in training to be a practitioner or to be a health coach, nutrition coach. So keep that in mind throughout this.
Okay.
And I wanted to thank you for taking the time to fill out the intake and the consent forms
Mhm.
online.
Absolutely.
I know that there was a little bit of an issue with that, but I'm glad we got it straightened out, being that you're my web developer.
Yes.
And that was on my end, of course, obviously. But yeah, I just needed you to know that I am in training,
Okay.
and that everything that I say here is not to be taken 100%, and that you should see a doctor if there's any issues that pertain from there.
Got it.
A little bit about myself and my connection to the topic today of sugar and how it affects us negatively. 13 years ago, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I'm not sure if you're aware of what that is, but it's an autoimmune disease. It's neurological. I was active, fit. I was an athlete of sorts for 20 plus years before that. I thought I was eating well. I was vegetarian for 17 years before that,
Yeah.
3 of which I was vegan. And thought I was doing everything I could, in a sense, to be healthy. I was drug-free, I was alcohol-free
Yeah.
my entire life at that point. And still came down with MS.
Okay.
Kind of came out of nowhere. Didn't really know what to attribute it to because, again, I thought I was healthy. But ultimately, what I feel was a mix of over sugar consumption and some stressors that I had at that time in my life. Everything just kind of boiled over, and I started getting symptoms and
Mhm.
went into the hospital, and a few days later I was diagnosed.
So MS is not, do we know, you're thinking that MS came from, you're thinking just from stress and sugar? Or it's not, like it doesn't run, I don't know much about MS, so.
So genetics, I'm assuming you were going to say genetics.
Yeah, yeah.
Genetics are a little funky right now, whereas not that they're being disproven.
Okay.
In some manners they are, because they're seeing that genetics could be, well, your mom got breast cancer
Yep.
and then you got breast cancer.
Mhm.
Well, you ate the same foods that your mother ate, you lived in the same house that your mother ate.
Right.
So it looks genetics, but it's more environmental, or it could be.
Okay.
And that's not proven,
Okay.
and again, I'm in training.
Yep, yep,
But
yep.
that's something that geneticists are starting to figure out,
Okay.
find out, study and research right now.
Okay.
So MS isn't passed down genetically.
Okay.
I do believe in my case, and it's not everyone's view, that the MS was caused from just poor diet. Not
Okay.
just sugar necessarily,
Right.
probably a mix of gluten, overconsumption of sugar because I've had a sugar addiction my whole life,
Got you.
maybe some environmental stuff.
Mhm.
But then also at the same time I was diagnosed, I had some pretty bad stressors going on in my life,
Okay.
with like a living situation that selfishly or childishly
Mhm.
I had an issue with.
Okay.
So I was dealing with some things that were slightly unsightly.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, great question.
Well,
by
thanks
the
for
way.
asking, or thanks for
Yeah.
answering that. I wasn't
Do
sure.
you have or know anyone with MS or an autoimmune disease
You know, I don't.
in your family or friends?
I don't.
Okay.
I really don't.
We
I
can
don't
cut-
know how rare it is. I mean, I know that there's a lot of different autoimmune diseases. I don't know, no one that I'm close to, that I'm really close to, has it. And I'm sure that there's more out there. I don't know how much it's talked about either.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? So thank you for.
Yeah, well,
enlightening me.
I've got some more
Okay, great.
questions that
Yeah.
we can touch on
Okay.
as far as that goes. MS is a highly inflammatory type of disease that is exacerbated by sugar,
Okay.
because sugar is a inflammatory food, or inflammatory chemical. Let's just say that the refined sugars that we're finding in processed foods.
Uh-huh.
So, but we'll get into that
Okay.
some depth
Okay.
here. So also speaking to MS, sorry. You had asked about it being genetics or how I think I got it. I suspect it just based on what I was eating at the time.
Okay.
And I know I kind of briefly touched on
Yeah.
that just now, but my diet was pretty poor.
Pretty poor.
It was, I pretty much ate out of gas stations based on the position I was in with the sport, if you will, that I was part of.
So that was kind of your lifestyle. You're on the road a lot with kind of your skateboarding, and that's why you're eating a lot of gas station food.
Right.
And you're young at that time, so like you don't think about all those things, and
Yeah, and
it's
honestly,
cheaper, right?
And
to eat.
honestly, I was probably, if I was taught that
Yeah.
information in high school or middle school or at home,
Yeah.
I totally didn't pay attention
Right.
because I wasn't concerned.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of emphasis put on the importance of it.
Okay.
It probably was just like a couple week program in health class, and
Got you.
in one year and out the other.
Right.
'Cause most kids don't pay attention.
Yeah,
so they
you're
don't.
just thinking about
Yeah.
other things, hanging with your friends, being outside, you name it. I have a couple questions regarding the symptoms that you started to feel that you went and kind of got checked out. Like, how did you know that?
Well, I woke
And
up.
how were you diagnosed with it?
I woke up one morning and my feet were numb, like
Okay.
needles and pins,
Yeah.
and I felt pretty bad the night before skating.
Okay.
I thought I pinched a nerve or something.
Right.
So I didn't think too much of it. Feeling came back. Next morning, same thing, but the needles and pins never went away.
Okay.
So I then thought I should probably get checked out, and long story short, 2 weeks later, I was needles and pins from my chest down.
Wow.
It had progressed, and
So it just all kind of felt like numb, kind of tingly.
yeah, just like when your arm goes to sleep, or your
Yeah.
hand, your
Oh,
foot. Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
So could you walk?
Sure.
It was just kind
It
of
was
like,
weird
yeah.
not knowing where your
like
feet
when
are
your
in
foot,
space.
yeah, your foot's asleep, your whole,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But luckily, through kind of learning about diet and lifestyle on my own, I was able to really kind of turn things around.
Okay.
When I was diagnosed, I wasn't even able to ride a bike from my house in Tempe to the skate shop in Tempe, which was less than a mile away. And just, for example, this past Friday, I just went on a 130-mile bike ride, much like I told you when you walked in earlier today. And
It's just so incredible.
the progress has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I've been med-free for 3 years.
And this is all because you've switched your diet.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool.
Just focusing on whole foods and
Yes.
exercise. So, but again, we can get into that
Okay,
more
okay,
here in a little
great.
bit. I wanted to do a little bit of an icebreaker,
Okay.
just to see where you're at, and kind of gauge some of the discussion today.
Mhm.
Being that we're talking about sugar addiction,
Mhm.
I wanted to see what you thought of sugars or where you think sugars actually are, and I want to have you, if you don't mind,
Okay. Sure.
pen and paper.
Okay.
I want you to write down 3 foods that you've recently had that have had no sugar in them. And then I want you to have 3 foods that you've had that you would consider having had refined sugar. And then 3 more foods that were natural sugars.
Okay.
And take your time thinking about
Okay.
it. No hurry, no rush.
So no sugar, refined sugars, and then natural sugars.
Correct.
Okay.
3. 3 of each.
Sure.